Thank you for watching Why I Killed You TV. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this particular video and this particular YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to be talking about the case of Suzanne Morphew. Suzanne Morphew went missing on Mother's Day, Sunday, May the 10th, 2020. That morning, she was supposed to go on a bike ride near her home in Toledo, Colorado, but she never came back. From the outside looking in, Suzanne's life, it was perfect. She had a husband named Barry, and she had two daughters, Mallory and Macy. The family had recently moved from Indiana to Colorado. Suzanne loved mountain bike riding and being outdoors. Barry owned a landscaping business and was known as a strong outdoorsy man. The day before she disappeared, which was Saturday, May the 9th, 2020, Barry said they had a nice evening together. He told police they had dinner, were intimate, and went to bed. Barry said Suzanne was still sleeping when he left for work the very next morning at 5 a.m. That Mother's Day morning, neither Barry nor the girls were home. The daughters were away on a camping trip. Barry texted Suzanne to wish her a happy Mother's Day, but she didn't reply. A neighbor checked on the house and said Suzanne's car was still there, but she wasn't. Barry told the neighbor to look for Suzanne's bike because she loved to bike ride. The bike was later found down a ravine near their home, but there was no signs of Suzanne. Police were called and the search began. Her bike helmet was found about a mile away from their home. Strangely, Suzanne's phone was missing, but her driver's license and credit cards were still in the car. 10 days into the investigation, police found something unusual, a spy pen in the couple's bedroom. It had been recording a conversation between Suzanne and a man named Jeff. He was her secret lover. They had reconnected in 2018. They knew each other from high school and had an affair back then. But now, fast forward to 2018, they had been talking almost daily. Jeff lived in Michigan. He had a family and didn't want anybody to know about the affair. But he eventually cooperated with police and gave them access to his messages with Suzanne. On May the 9th, the day before Suzanne went missing, she and Jeff messaged each other over 59 times. Around 2:05 p.m., Suzanne texted Jeff, "I'm just in love with you." Minutes later, Barry texted Suzanne, saying that he was headed home. She didn't respond. Investigators think that Barry might have come home and found out about the affair and snapped. Barry claimed he was outside shooting chipmunks around the same time, but police didn't find any evidence of that. They also discovered that his phone went into airplane mode for almost 8 hours between 2:45 p.m. and 10:17 p.m., which they believe was when he was cleaning up a possible crime scene and got rid of evidence. Investigators used special software to track Barry's Ford truck. Even though Barry said that he left home at 5 a.m. on May the 10th for a job in Broomfield, Colorado, the truck doors were opening and closing at 3:30 a.m. He also made several strange stops that morning, at least 5 different trash bins around Denver. Police believe he was dumping evidence. At 6 p.m. on May the 10th, Barry started driving back home, but then his daughters had come home and couldn't find their mom. The neighbors called 911 and the case became a national story. Police later found a cap from a tranquilizer dart in the family's dryer. Barry had used tranquilizer guns before to sedate deer to cut off their antlers to sell. This made police think that he might have used one on Suzanne. But Barry denied hurting Suzanne. He said he loved her. Still more evidence added up. Police discovered scratches on Barry's arms and several angry text messages Suzanne had sent to her friends regarding Barry. In one message to her sister, she said Barry had emotionally and physically abused her, and she felt unsafe. Almost a year later, on May the 5th, 2021, Barry Morphew was arrested for murder. Even though Suzanne's body had not been found, he was charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence and other crimes. But things didn't go as planned. The prosecution made mistakes and they didn't share information or evidence regarding the timeline, including the unknown male DNA found in Suzanne's car. This DNA matched a man linked to 3 sexual assault cases in that state. That raised some questions. Could someone else have taken Susan? Because of all of these problems, the judge dropped the charges in April of 2022, but the case wasn't closed. The charges were dismissed without prejudice, which means they could be filed again if new evidence appears. As of now, Susan's body has never been found. Some believe that she was killed by her husband, but her husband is saying he believes she was killed by a mountain lion. Others think someone else could have taken her. Barry Morphew is a free man, and Susan's daughters still support him. Her sister Melinda said that she hopes Susan's body will one day be found so that their nieces can have the answers that they need, and so the truth can finally be found out. Barry Morphew had been charged again with the murder of his wife, Suzanne Morphew. He was indicted on June the 20th, 2025 by a grand jury in Colorado. This happened almost 5 years after Susan's disappearance on Mother's Day in 2020. Even though Barry was arrested back in 2021, those charges were dropped in 2022, but now new evidence has led to the case being reopened. Susan's skeletal remains were found in September of 2023, more than 3 years after she went missing. Her remains were discovered in a remote area in Colorado, not far from where she lived. An autopsy report was completed in 2024, and it reveals something very shocking. Susan died from a powerful drug called BAM, which is a tranquilizer used on animals like deer. Investigators say that Barry had access to those tranquilizers, and he even admitted in the past that he used it to illegally sedate deer so he can cut off their antlers and sell them. This detail became very important because when Susan first disappeared, a small plastic cap was found in the home's dryer. Investigators now believe that the cap belonged to the tranquilizer dart. That matched when the autopsy reveals Susan had a tranquilizer chemical in her bones, meaning that she was likely drugged before she died. Police also revealed some more digital evidence. They looked at the data of Barry's cell phone and truck, which shows suspicious movement on the weekend Susan vanished. For example, his phone went into airplane mode for nearly 8 hours that day, which made it impossible to track him during that time. Investigators believed he used that time to dispose of evidence. Back in 2022, the murder charges were dropped because the prosecution missed deadlines and the judge blocked 14 key witnesses from testifying. Also, unknown male DNA was found in Susan's car. It didn't match Barry or Susan's secret lover, Jeff. That raised new questions at the time, like whether there was a serial attacker in the area that might have been involved. But now prosecutors think they have a stronger case against Barry. The autopsy confirmed the cause of death, and the tranquilizer connection directly ties it to Barry. He was arrested in Arizona on June the 20th, 2025, and now is waiting to be taken back to Colorado. His bond has been set at $3 million, cash only. Even though this case has gone back and forth for years, prosecutors say they now believe they can prove that Barry killed Susan. They said he drugged her, possibly with a tranquilizer dart, and then got rid of her body in the mountains. The case is trending now again today because of this important indictment that marks a big moment. It could finally lead to the justice for Suzanne Morphew.
They hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.